Hello everyone, as promised, today I'm starting with the series on RBI circulars and we will be completing all the important RBI circulars from past few months, which include the RBI notifications, RBI master directions, RBI press release and whatnot. So without wasting any other moment, let's get started. So today's discussion is going to be on prepayment charges on loans direction. So as I always do, first I'll explain the entire circular. Once the explanation is done, then we will read out all the content we have for the given circular itself. So let's get started guys. तो सबसे पहला जो मेरा point है आप सभी से वो क्या है? So that is, what do you understand by the word prepayment? Once I'll discuss the word prepayment, then I'll discuss the word prepayment charges on loan. So basically prepayment is word related to loan. So prepayment of loans. So what is the meaning of prepayment of loans? See, prepayment of loans basically means when you make prepayment or when you pay back the loan amount in advance. When you pay back the loan amount in advance. So I would say loan repayment done in advance. Loan repayment is done in advance. Now it's up to you whether you are making the entire amount, whatever is pending, or you are making the partial payment. But whenever you make or whenever you repay the loan amount in advance or loan repayment is done in advance, we call it as prepayment. If you are paying the entire loan amount and that too beforehand, if you're paying the entire loan amount and that too beforehand, we call it as pre-closure of loan, or we even call it as foreclosure of loan. So what is pre-closure or foreclosure of loan? It basically means when you pay back the entire outstanding amount in order to complete the loan. In order to complete the loan in advance, we call it as what? We call it as prepayment of loan. Even specifically, we call it as pre-closure or foreclosure. Partial means if you pay back certain amount of your principal in advance, we call it as partial loan repayment done in advance, and that will also fall under the category of prepayment only. तो ये दोनों ही prepayment है, चाहे आपने लोन की पूरी आउटस्टैंडिंग अमाउंट देकर लोन कंप्लीट कर दिया, that is also prepayment of loan. And if you are paying certain amount of your loan in advance, we also call it as prepayment. अब इसमें पॉइंट क्या है? पॉइंट ये है कि सर अगर आप बैंक के पास गए and you say बैंक की I have borrowed a loan from you and the loan tenor is 10 years, lending rate is 10% per annum and it's already 3 years that I have been making the repayment of this loan through EMI. Now at the beginning of the 4th year, I approached to the bank and I said कि सर मेरे पास कुछ बोनस आया था मेरी कंपनी से, so I have decided that I will be paying 5 lakh rupees in one go. So I want to decrease the principal of my loan by paying 5 lakh rupees. So the moment I pay 5 lakh rupees and still my outstanding is not zero, then also it will be termed as partial repayment of loan done in advance. It will be a part of prepayment of loan. जैसे मैंने कहा तो बैंक ने कहा सर क्यों 5 लाख रुपए दे रहे हो? Why not you pay 6.5 lakh rupees? This is your entire outstanding. You pay your 6.5 lakh rupees and your loan will be complete, and that will be termed as foreclosure or pre-closure of loan. That will also fall under the category of prepayment only. ठीक, जैसे ही I decided to make the prepayment, bank said that sir, we will be charging certain amount on your prepayment, which means let's suppose your outstanding is need to be 6.5, you have to pay 20,000 extra. If you are paying 5 lakh rupees, it will be deducting only 4.8 lakh rupees from the principal. 20,000 is charged, kind of a penalty or charges on you. The moment bank say this statement to me, I was very upset. I said, क्यों? किस बात की penalty? What is the reason? Then bank explained me in this manner कि sir, I was expecting that you will be making your repayment in the form of EMIs, and I have already made the arrangements that the EMIs which I'm going to receive from you, how I'm going to utilize that amount in order to earn profit, in order to earn return. But if you are giving me unexpected These are the unexpected funds which I am going to accept from you, and these unexpected funds will result in interest rate risk on me. How interest rate risk is raised on the bank, or how I would say asset liability management issues will raise on the bank. So the reason is, firstly, bank has given loan to you at 10% per annum, and today bank will be able to give the same amount received from you at loan for only 9% or maybe 8%. So this results in decrease in bank's NIM first. Second is, this excess amount which you have paid, that will be a surplus on the bank, and if unfortunately bank is not able to provide that amount on loan, not even at 8 or 9%, then bank may be parking that surplus amount with RBI at just standing deposit facility, or maybe on the worst case at reverse repo rate. So in that particular case, bank is going to lose. It is not actual loss. It is basically the loss which we always talk about in the financial system, where actual return is less than the expected return. That is also known as risk in the financial world. So that financial risk is going to be witnessed in case of bank, and in order to mitigate this interest rate risk or reinvestment risk, or to mitigate the problem of asset liability management, bank charge certain amount of charges which was accepted and which was allowed by RBI, and for that matter it is still allowed by RBI. But there is certain changes, certain amendments, certain updates which has been done by RBI with this respect. So what update has been done? RBI has came up with the statement that in case of prepayment charges on loan, in that particular format, I would say it is allowed. It is allowed in case of fixed loan. It is allowed in case of fixed loan. We all know that there are two types of loan. One is fixed loan. What is fixed loan? So the type of loan in which lending rate is pre-decided and it is prefixed. It's not going to change for the entire tenure of the loan. अगर आपको starting में promise कर दिया 10%, तो last तक आपका रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट कितना रहेगा? 10% ही रहेगा. उस केस में अगर बोरोवर प्रीपेमेंट करता है तो फॉर श्योर चार्जेस विल बी चार्ज, एंड इट इज अलाउड एज पर आरबीआई गाइडलाइंस. इट इज अलाउड एज पर आरबीआई गाइडलाइंस. और चार्जेस कितने होंगे? इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द चार्जेस, इट विल बी डिसाइडेड बाय द रेगुलेटेड एंटिटीज. इट विल बी डिसाइडेड बाय द रेगुलेटेड एंटिटीज बोर्ड approved policy. So there will be a policy which is going to be approved by RBI, and on the basis of that particular board approved policy, penalty will be or charges will be charged in case of prepayment of loan if it is a fixed loan. But on the other side, the other type of loan we have is, we call it as floating loan. Floating loan means the type of loan in which lending rate is not fixed. The lending rate changes with change in bank's lending rate, because in case of floating loan, bank's lending rate is linked to a particular factor which is not fixed. For example, if I say currently bank is following a method that is EBLR, external benchmark lending rate, where bank's lending rate is decided with the help of either repo rate, treasury bill 91 days, treasury bill 182 days. So on the basis of any of the one out of four given options, bank has to link its lending rate. Let's suppose bank has linked its lending rate to repo rate, and if RBI changes its repo rate, undoubtedly the lending rate of the bank will change. Not only this, bank will add certain amount as a spread in repo rate in order to come up with the minimum lending rate below which bank will not lend. But this spread amount which has been added by the bank, it may also change depending upon the economic scenario. So in that case, I would like to say bank's lending rate is revised on regular basis, and if the lending rate of the bank is revised on regular basis and that reflection is witnessed on your ongoing loan, we call that loan as floating loan. So in that case, RBI says कि अगर borrower ने आपसे floating loan लिया है तो borrower is also at risk, and if borrower is making a repayment, in that particular case bank should not charge any charges with certain conditions. So let's talk about those conditions, but broadly speaking, in case of floating loan, If I talk about charges, so charges are not allowed. Broadly speaking, charges are not allowed. So charges are not allowed in case of, first, if loan is given to an individual and it is a non-business category loan. That means if an individual has borrowed a loan and it is a non-business category loan, which means, let's suppose you have borrowed home loan or maybe you have borrowed car loan, in that particular case, no penalty is going to be charged. Prepayment charges on loan not allowed in case of floating loan if given to an individual for non-business purposes or for non-business category. Second is again, penalty is not allowed if loan is given to an individual even for business purpose, but there are certain conditions. What are the conditions? First is if loan is given by first one, public sector bank, that is SBI, PNB, private banks, ICICI, HDFC, foreign banks, along with that tier 4 urban cooperative banks, NBFC, upper layer, and all India financial institute. So even if it is a business loan, then also no penalty will be charged. Other point is, if the loan is given to an individual for business purpose and if loan is up to 50 lakh rupees, and given by RRBs or state as well as district central cooperative bank, then we have urban cooperative bank tier 3, then we have NBFC middle layer. So in that particular case, if loan is given for business purpose and the loan value is up to 50 lakhs and if loan is given by these all organizations, then also penalty is not charged. But if loan value is greater than 50 lakhs and given by these individual banks only, then penalty is also allowed even in case of floating loan. But for these banks, whatsoever is the loan type, no penalty. And in case of fixed loan, yes, penalty is allowed irrespective of the bank type, irrespective of the loan type. And in both the cases, in case of fixed loan and in case of loan value above 50 lakhs given by these categories of bank, penalty value will be decided by the board of regulated entity. Is it clear? Now let's quickly read out the entire content and things will be much clearer to you. But this is what I call the entire handwritten note of one particular RBI circular, which is easy for you to memorize. So let's go back and let's check out the detail which I have for you. So firstly, RBI has noticed that the banks and NBFCs, they follow different practices on prepayment charges, causing confusion, and some of the banks even asked their customers not to make the repayment. The repayment was restricted. So in order to avoid this, RBI came up with a draft on the same in February 2025, and after going through with the public feedback, RBI has come up with the final direction which I have just discussed with you. So the key highlights which are going to be applicable from 1st January 2026 is it is applicable on all the scheduled commercial, it is applicable on all the commercial banks except payment banks. Why not payment banks? Because they don't provide loan. It is applicable on cooperative banks, NBFCs, and even all India financial institutes. It covers all loans which are sanctioned or which are going to be renewed on or after 1st January 2026. Now, prepayment rules for the floating rate loans, loans for non-business purposes to individual, no prepayment charges are allowed. Secondly, loans for business purposes to individual, no charges if the loan is given by commercial banks, excluding small finance bank, RRBs or local area banks, tier 4 urban cooperative banks, NBFC upper layer, and all India financial institutes. No charges up to 50 lakh rupees of loan if given by small finance banks, RRB, state or central cooperative banks, tier 3 urban cooperative banks and NBFC middle layer. So rest of all the left out, categories, penalty will be charged or charges will be charged, and that will be decided by the regulated entity, a board approved policy. So these apply regardless of sources of prepayment or any lock-in period. In case of dual or special rate loans, prepayment charges depend on whether it is in floating. So for example, you have a loan where this loan remains in floating category for some time and in fixed category for some time. So if you are making the prepayment during the loan is in floating category, then no charges. If it is in fixed loan category, then charges will be charged. So loans which are not included or which are not discussed above, on those loans charges will be charged as per regulated entity approved policy. Term loans, in case of term loan, charges will depend on outstanding loan amount, or it will depend upon the amount which you are prepaying as a prepayment of loan. But in case of cash credit or overdraft account, charges will depend on the overall sanction limit, not on the total outstanding value. ये दोनों पॉइंट याद रखना कि अगर आपने टर्म लोन 10 लाख का लिया, उसका अभी आप 5 लाख रुपए देकर क्लोज कर रहे हो अकाउंट, तो उस केस में 5 लाख के बिहाफ पर कैलकुलेशन होगी चार्जेस की. बट इफ योर क्रेडिट, कैश क्रेडिट और ओवरड्राफ्ट अकाउंट इज ऑफ वैल्यू, जिसकी ओवरड्राफ्ट लिमिट है 10 लाख, इररिस्पेक्टिव आप 2 लाख रुपए देकर उस अकाउंट को क्लोज कर रहे हो, प्रीपे कर रहे हो अमाउंट को, तो उस केस में जो पेनल्टी वैल्यू है वो 10 लाख पे कैलकुलेट होगी, ना कि आपके प्रीपेमेंट पे. ये आपको पॉइंट याद रखना होगा. रिमेंबर दैट देयर आर सर्टेन एक्सेप्शंस. नो प्रीपेमेंट चार्जेस आर चार्ज. अगर बोरोर ने एडवांस में इंफॉर्म कर दिया कि मैं अपने ओवरड्राफ्ट अकाउंट को क्लोज करूंगा इतनी इतनी डेट को, तो उस केस में कोई पेनल्टी चार्ज नहीं होगी. या फिर अगर रेगुलेटरी एंटिटी ने खुद कहा कि अपने लोन को बंद करो, उस केस में भी कोई प्रीपेमेंट पेनल्टी या चार्जेस चार्ज नहीं होंगे. क्लियरली ये जो प्रीपेमेंट चार्जेस हैं, दे आर ऑट टू बी मेंशन इन द सैंक्शन लेटर और लोन अग्रीमेंट और in the key fact statement which is given to the borrower at the time of lending. There should be no hidden charges allowed, and if bank has already waived these charges, then they cannot charge these charges in the near future. For example, बैंक के पास लोन लेने गया, बैंक ने कहा आपका जब मन करे लोन वापस कर देना, कोई पेमेंट, कोई पेनल्टी चार्ज नहीं होगी. अब अगर मैं प्री पेमेंट करने गया and if bank is looking for a penalty or charges, I won't pay it because it is very clearly mentioned in advance at the time of borrowing itself. Last is from 1st of January 2026, this new guideline will follow. Now I have mentioned two things. One is NBFC, upper layer, lower layer. So let's talk about that. NBFC is categorized as base layer, middle layer, upper layer and top layer. Or cooperative banks tier 4, tier 3, tier 2 and tier 1. Iski information I have added in the PDF itself. Along with that, there is a word over here that is co-obligant. तो जब आप co-obligant वर्ड पढ़ते हैं, इट कम्स अप विद 3 टर्म्स. एक होता है co-applicant, एक होता है co-obligant, एक होता है guarantor. So I have given all the 3 words, but in the current discussion which we have done, in the current circular which we have just discussed, वहां पे सिर्फ co-obligant था, तो मैंने उसके भाई बहन भी साथ में कवर कर दिया. I have covered the co-obligant, the co-applicant as well as guarantor. और इस particular सेशन की जो PDF है, it will be available on my Telegram channel. इसमें मैंने even added the details of fixed interest rates, floating interest rate and even the methods used by banks to decide the lending rates. So जो information मैंने extra दी है, that I am expecting कि you know. If you don't know, then also you can comment in the comment section so that I can discuss the left out information as well. But the entire circular has been covered in the holistic manner. If you have enjoyed it, do share your feedback in the comment section. Do share your suggestions in the comment section so that this series turn out to be very fruitful for all those candidates who are watching this, and they can utilize the content taught in this series in their upcoming examinations. So I will be waiting for your feedbacks. I will be waiting for your suggestions so that I can improve the series as per your requirement. Thank you so much. Good luck. God bless you all.